Okay, guys, we are going to talk about selecting a cabin on a cruise ship. We're going to assume you decided, hey, I'm going to go on the cruise. I know what cruise line I'm going to go on. I know what itinerary I want to do. I know what cruise ship I want to do. Now I have to select a room. Where is the best room location on a cruise ship? Now, this is often debated. There are people that say, hey, I like to be towards the back. I like to be towards the front, midship. Now, there's a lot of things you're going to factor in. When you look at the websites for the cruise lines, they will often talk about, do you want to be closer to the food or do you want to be closer to the fun? Because usually the fun is, at one end and the food is at the other end of the ship. And you want to be in the middle. Okay, I'm going to come right out and say midship is the best place to be, especially the bigger the ship. It's even more important because it's going to save you on a lot of walking. So here's our advice. We strongly advise you to pick midship, pick a floor close to the floor you board the ship on. So when you're researching your cruise ship, look at the deck plan, look up on Google what floor do you board on generally, and it's going to usually be between decks 3 and 5. You want to be somewhere near there, and I'll explain to you why that's important. But before I get into that, you need to, before you select your room, you need to research the deck plan thoroughly. You never want to pick a room that is directly below any public venue, public spaces, restaurants, bars, anything like that, because you are going to hear a lot of noise. You don't want to be underneath pool decks. Any location on the ship that produces a lot of activity and noise, you do not want to be underneath them. It sounds simple enough. It's a good rule that you need to follow, because if you forget, you might pick a room and be directly underneath a restaurant or something, which we have done fairly recently. Back in December, we made that mistake. We, picked a room quickly, and that happened. Another time, we let the cruise line pick the room for us, and they put us in a really bad spot. So we don't advise ever selecting that option. It might save you $50, $100. It's not worth it. Pick your own room. That way, you need to review the deck plan and pick a room. You want to pick a room where there's staterooms above you and staterooms below you, that ideally. Now, as far as inside cabin or balcony, we'll do another video about that later. But the reason I said you need to be close to the deck that you board the ship on is it makes getting off the ship easier when you're in port, and also on the last day. Okay, so if you have luggage and you only have to go down a flight or two, it's a lot easier than being, say, on deck 14 and you got to take an elevator down to deck 5 or 4 or whatever to get off the ship. Those elevators get super crowded on the last day, guys, and you will stand there forever. And it's always best to carry your own luggage off if you physically can do it. And it's always best to not have to rely on an elevator. So that's why we always try to stay near that main deck. So ideally, you want to be like 2 above it or 1 above it if you can, and go right down the stairs and you get off the ship real quick. I hope that helped you. Oh, and I forgot. I meant it. As far as motion goes, you're going to feel the least amount of motion midship. Okay, so if you're worried about seasickness, that's another great reason for being midship. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, you are a equal distance away from the food and the fun. I hope that tip helps you, and stay tuned for more.